content is king. I don't
Yep.
believe that you can produce too much content because there's all these filters and things like that. And if you put enough out there, more people will see it. Welcome to the Matt Literacy Project. This is a show about all things real estate, business, marketing, and entrepreneurship. Each show consists of myself, Matt Literacy, a member of my team, and a guest. This week, we are updating the coronavirus situation, so we are still practicing the social distancing. So it's just me. This is Season 2, Episode 26, COVID-19, Week 8 podcast, The New Normal. That's what we're going to label this one, The New Normal. I mean, this is 8 weeks we've been doing this now. Hair is still overgrown. Haven't found a way to get it cut. I know it's not what we're supposed to be worried about. But every week what I've been doing is telling you what the date is. Today the date is May 7th. So what I tell you today when I read off these answers, it could change tomorrow. This virus is changing by the minute, by the day, by the hour. It's constantly changing. So if I tell you something today on Thursday, May 7th, and Friday, May 8th, we found new research or whatever that made me look stupid. I can't predict the future, guys. If I could, I wouldn't be sitting here selling real estate. And for reminder, what we do is my assistants, my graphic designer, my marketing person, my agents, they ask people for questions. They write down questions that they've gotten more than once for the week. We put it all together. We ask social media. And then all those people put it together, and my marketing person puts it all she takes all the emails that she gets, and everybody pieces into one place, and then they send it to me, and I don't really look at these beforehand because there's a lot of questions, and I just read them off. So as I see these, or as I say these, it's the first time I'm seeing them, and I'm just going to kind of knock these off one after the other. So let's get moving on this. Question 1, how was the market this week? The market was extremely strong. Traffic is double what it was last week, and last week was double the week before. I think we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. I think the market is back. I'm going to say that. I think the market's back. I mean, under 500,000, guys, let's back it up. Under 500,000, the market's pretty darn crazy. 500 to a million, still kind of hit or miss. Million plus, still pretty dead. But it's getting better. I feel like it's like you're running down the hall, and the person exiting the hall first is the lower price points, and the higher price points can be the ones to follow and get through that tunnel. And I think it's a matter of time. And I think by this time next month, the market's gonna be pretty crazy. And we're still seeing inventory being a big problem. There's just not enough inventory. There's a big problem. People keep thinking prices are coming down, but so far prices have not come down. In fact, there's been numerous articles about prices that are going to go up. I think the market is pretty good. I would say it's more like a January right now. Last week I said it was like an October. Now I think it's like a January, and I think next week or next month, I think we're going to see. I think we're going to get back to normal. I really do. I'm seeing it. I'm feeling it. The momentum is starting to shift. So that's what I've been seeing. Are you seeing an increase or decrease in showings since the shelter-in-place extension? Just answer that. Double. Every single week, showings are getting better and better. And I think that's going to continue to happen. Especially, also it's getting nicer out. Are you still seeing a lot of multiple bids? Yes. Under $1 million, tons of multiple bids. Tons. Above that, not as many, but we are seeing more and more stuff go under contract. We're seeing more multiple bids. How do you help make sure your clients win a multiple bid during quarantine? Personalize it. Get a letter going, guys. Show them who you've been quarantining with. Get a nice picture of you with the mask on. All sellers look at are the dollars. So if you can't win out on the dollars, you want to personalize it. You could pull some contingencies. Pulling an as is or pulling your financing are two huge things that will make you win. It's super risky, but that's what we're doing in some cases if we're pretty confident in their mortgage things. But there's a lot you could do. It's all relative, though. Are there any pocket listings right now? Pocket listings are huge. A lot of people with toddlers or kids, health conditions, they're pocket listing their place. We'll see if they ever come on. But we are seeing a lot of pocket listings. I am seeing a lot of people not open up their pocket listings, though. You can actually see the open ratio. I don't see the open ratio being that high right now. Quick fact, we pocket listed a bunch of places a couple weeks ago. Nobody really opened them up. Didn't sell them as a pocket, went on the market, sold first day on the market with 6 or 7 bids. So I think pocket listings are stupid, and I continue to think that way. And every time I post one to compare to the market, it solidifies my reasoning behind it. Is there one Chicago neighborhood with more inventory than others, one with the least? Honestly, no. It's all pretty low across the board. I would say that like low inventory is definitely $500,000 and under. There's low inventory across the board. Is anyone having success with virtual open houses? I haven't heard anybody. Honestly, I think virtual open houses are a good way to try to do something different. Whether or not somebody's sitting at home waiting for you to do a virtual open house, I honestly don't see the point, because if you have a 3D tour and you have a video, it's better than a virtual open house, and you can just send that to everybody. But I mean, more power to anybody that's doing it and just trying to, get more traffic on their listings. What do you think about JB's new phase plan for a return to normalcy? I think we could speed up the phases. I think we could. I think, and I know he's getting a lot of pushback, and I'm agreeing with the pushback. Like we gotta get moving on this economy. We gotta get these restaurateurs and everybody else back to work. Why are you going to Whole Foods every night instead of shopping less frequently to reduce your exposure? Okay, for anybody out there that's ever listening to any of these, I go to Whole Foods almost every night of the week to grab groceries, and then I cook. I drive back to the suburbs and I cook for the family. I mean, I don't go every night of the week, let's say, maybe every other night or every couple nights. I mean, I'm the type of person that wakes up and I feel like what I want to eat that night. I try to cook something that's healthy, but like kind of has like, well, it's like bad, but with a healthy twist, like whatever. So like, I like to wake up and think about what I want to eat that day. And then that's what I have to look forward to cook for the family that night. So that's why I go. I'm not around anybody. They limit how many people go into Whole Foods. So it is what it is. What exposure that you have makes you the most nervous? Getting coffee, eating out, showings with clients, etc. Honestly, I don't think about the exposure levels. I have a mask on when I'm seeing people. We're not by each other. We drive in separate cars. Grab my coffee. I'm not worried about it. To be frank, I'm really not that worried about it. I don't think about it. I know I probably should. I don't think about it. How is Domino handling the quarantine? Great question. Domino is my Great Dane dog. I will tell you that Domino used to sleep in mine and my wife's bed. It's a big Great Dane, 110 pounds plus, and it's huge. And now she has left us and sleeps with my mother-in-law in her bed. I'm pretty upset about that. I feel like my mother-in-law has stolen my Great Dane, but that's a different conversation. Are you seeing anyone out in Chicago not following the shelter-in-place guidelines? I mean, a lot of people don't have masks on. I haven't seen anybody not wearing a mask in a store because they won't let you in without one. So not really seeing anybody like do anything crazy. What are you hearing from other agents across the country about how other cities are doing? It's cool. I've been talking with a lot of people. I'm on a lot of different groups, Facebook groups, text chains, emails, all this stuff. I mean, everything is different. Everybody's handling these things differently. I think Michigan just reopened. A lot of states are starting to reopen for showings because some of them weren't considered non-essential workers. But we're seeing a lot of people tell me how busy they are. And a lot of people are still saying they are selling a lot of stuff. A lot of people lost all their business. And I think overall, the negative way people were feeling before across the country is now turning very, very positive. And a lot of people are talking about how the market's really, really picking up where they're at. We're seeing that a lot here too. Have you heard from your buddy Ryan Serhant at all? Not recently. We spoke a couple weeks ago. Well, actually, we emailed a couple weeks ago just talking about the market. Nothing huge from there. What is the first trip you will plan after quarantine? Well, I was supposed to go to Miami area for my birthday in March. Canceled that. Then we rescheduled to Memorial Day. Canceled that. Now that trip is planned for July 4th, pending the quarantine and how it goes. So we'll see if we're still going to go, but that is my first trip planned. How are the wineries you order from doing? Not good, because they call me a bunch to see if we want to buy even more wine. Now, I've been buying a bunch of wine. I've been drinking more than I normally do, as I've been saying the last 7 weeks prior. You know what? The reason I'm personally buying wine is because I know they're not doing good. And most of these companies that I buy wine from are small family-owned vineyards. And, I want to support the businesses that I like. So I'm trying to do my part and buy off of them. Just as I hope everybody else is out there trying to support their favorite, stores or restaurants and stuff like that by, doing what they can to buy stuff off them to keep them kind of going in this difficult time. Who is cleaning the MLG office? Jamie is. Jamie cleans the office. She's also our executive assistant. We normally have cleaning people in here every other week. Obviously, they haven't been coming in, but we're trying to desanitize this place. We don't have people sitting in here all day, so not that many people come in here in the first place. Why do you make tacos on Thursdays instead of Tuesdays? Great question. Most people do Taco Tuesdays. We, in the Literacy household at my in-laws, their name is Stalin, we do Taco Thursdays. The reason we do it, I don't want to be like everybody else. When everybody goes left, I want to go right. If everybody does Taco Tuesdays, I want to do Taco Thursdays. And that's why we do them. And every Thursday, we come up with a different recipe. Today's Thursday, we're doing a turkey taco. So we're doing Turkey Taco Thursdays. I'll post a picture on Instagram tonight. Take a look. You can see how those things look. How's it going being quarantined with your in-laws? So again, for everybody out there, I'm driving back to the suburbs. My wife is, she's on her own with our toddler all day because I'm working, and having her in-laws help out is good. I mean, I have no problems with it. I eat dinner with them every night. I get home late, so I don't see anybody that much, and I leave before most of them even get up. So to me, everything's okay. The drive for me kind of sucks, but and that's how I notice a lot of people are getting over this quarantine is that I'm seeing more and more traffic. It's taking me longer and longer. It's been taking me like an extra 5 minutes to get here every day. And I was flying here in 20 minutes. Now it's taking me 40 minutes. And I think 2 weeks from now it's going to take me an hour. But overall, positive. I have a good relationship with my in-laws. So I'm not, there's no drama there if that's what you're looking for. Have you increased your run distances during quarantine? I run every morning. I do not run that much farther than I did before. I run just under 4 miles, and I ran just under 4 miles today, and tomorrow I'll probably run just under 4 miles again. What's the most annoying thing other agents are doing during quarantine? I think a lot of agents are using quarantine as an excuse to not work. I know that some of them have bragged to some of my agents that they've gotten unemployment checks so they don't have to work, or they made more money off unemployment than they did during working their normal hours. So that's probably annoying to me. Or the other thing is cockiness. Some people are being super cocky right now, which doesn't make sense to me. I mean, it's a pandemic. We get it. If you're busy, relax. It's cool. But honestly, it's a select few. We're talking 5%. 95% agents are, everybody's in it together. We're talking about we're just going to get through it. Everybody's trying to help each other out. So, I mean, overall, I'd say nothing's super annoying that's keeping me up at night. So. What should you do if your client wants to buy a place on the market, but sellers are refusing to do a showing? So if your client wants to buy something that is on the market and you can't get in, ask for a video, make an offer sight unseen, and roll the dice. I mean, it's like buying new construction. You're buying off a floor plan and a video. If you love it that much, it is what it is. Maybe try to get into a unit that's similar and kind of map it out. But you can either pull the trigger now and hope to get a better deal since nobody else is getting in there, or wait until it opens up. But that's really your only options. Where's the best place for new agents to learn and increase their market knowledge? So for agents out there who want to get more information, NAR has a lot of great podcasts going on right now, and so does the Chicago Association of Realtors. I would read Cranes. I would follow The Real Deal. I think The Real Deal's got great information. And don't just read the Chicago edition. Read every single city's edition. Read Inman. I like Rethink Technologies. They got a lot of good stuff. Follow Real Estate News. What I do personally is I look at all the big real estate news letters, syndications, whether it be the Tribune or whatever it is in our city, and I look at probably the top 15 cities in the country, and I subscribe to newsletters on all of their stuff. So this way, every morning, I literally look at every headline that comes out in all the big cities, so I could talk, educationally about, I could talk educatedly. Is that the word? Whatever. You know the word I'm getting at. So I could talk intelligent on the market of what's happening over there. And I think if you subscribe to all that stuff, it's a good way to kind of follow the market trends because Trends start in different areas, and real estate is super local. So if you study that stuff, talk to other people, watch webinars, listen to podcasts. I mean, there's so much stuff. Nowadays with the internet, there's so much stuff out there that you could get that information and just educate yourself. You could spend 24 hours a day, every day of the week, learning about what's out there. And if you're sitting at home or too nervous to go out, I mean, this is a great time to educate yourself. Should people who previously pulled their property off the market reconsider putting them back on because of low inventory multiple bids? So pretty much there's a lot of people who pulled their places the minute the shelter in place got hit. I mean, listen, the minute the shelter in place got hit, I mean, go back to, I think this was like week 2, people went nuts. Right now, 6 weeks later, week 8, there's a lot of confidence out there. I think a lot of people are over it. And I don't mean they're over the disease, okay? I think they're over the fact of like the fear. I think a lot of people are now saying like, hey, I understand what this is. We have a little bit of a better understanding of what COVID is. I feel more comfortable leaving my house. I throw a mask on, throw some gloves on, and I can social distance myself away from somebody else, and I could get a lay of the land. And I think what happened 6-7 weeks ago was that we had no idea. We were just told like, hey, this disease is coming and everybody's going to die. And now we're like, okay, we know what this is. We know what precautions we have to take, and people feel more comfortable. So I think if you pulled it because of the panic, I think now's the time to put it back on, because there's going to be a wave of properties that hit the market, and you want to be one of the first people to come on. You don't want to be the third or fourth wave. Are you calling clients and advising them to do so? Okay, so follow-up question, didn't see that underneath it. Yes. I mean, we didn't really pull any listings, to be honest with you. We only pulled 2 listings, and, both of those people's buildings won't allow us in. So for everybody out there, like, some buildings won't allow you to show a property. I think technically that's illegal. We could get into the schematics of that. I don't feel like doing it right now, but, those are the only ones we haven't put back on. So there has been some properties we got fired from, even today. Just so you know, everybody out there, you want to see us throw some mud in my face. I got fired from 3 listings recently due to lack of showings, or they want to go a different direction, knowing that this whole thing's gonna be blown over. And guess what? You're not gonna win every single battle. Not even Mickey Mantle batted 1,000. Okay, so we're gonna lose just like everybody else. We're overweight losers too, and sucks. I'm super pissed about it, but I'm not gonna let it ruin my day. And I'm sure we're going to get fired a lot more this year. And for everybody out there that is watching this, that if you're going to get let go from some of your listings, it's going to happen. How is your team performing during quarantine? Are you still on track with your goals for 2020? So we did 38 closings in April, which is a great statistic year over year. That's more than we did last April. As of today, May 7th, did we say it was? Yes, May 7th. We are above last year, so we're $4 million ahead of last year. However, I have calculated where we'll be at the end of May, and we're going to be like $10 million behind. For a lot of people, we got a lot of pushback from people like, oh, you closed 38 in April, that's bragging and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, listen, May and June are going to suck. Like, our May and June closings are going to be nowhere near where they were last May and June. So I'm not going to readjust my goals, though. I'll tell you that right now. I'm not going to be one to let this virus be an excuse of why I didn't do as well. So my goal was $220 million this year, and my goal remains $220 million this year. And as of right now, I'm ahead of my goal for my progress, and I think we're going to continue to be ahead of our goal until the end of May, which will be behind. And I just think that July and August will be so good that it's going to make up for May and June. What is something you have failed at during COVID-19? I got fired from some pretty big buyers. I don't think I communicated as well to some long-distance buyers. I think I'm really good at in-person meetings, and now I'm really good at Zoom meetings. But I think when it first hit, I was just doing phone consultations, and I was only talking to like one person on the party and describing what we did. And it tended to be the husband that I talked to, but the husband was still working and the wife was working from home. And I think I didn't follow up enough with the other party in the relationship to explain to them how everything worked. And they found somebody else that they clicked with better, and they had more time to look on the real estate. So they went a different direction. And, it's a learning experience. It was probably about $3.5 million in buyers I've lost as a result. And I could complain about these people are jerks for wasting my time, or I could do what I have been doing is I self-reflected and realized, hey, I messed up and I have to be better. And I have to realize that next time this happens, here's how I'm going to do it. And that's when we decided to start making mandatory consultations be Zoom calls rather than phone calls. I think it's more personal to see people, and I also think it's worth waiting to, instead of rushing into a consultation like I did with some of these people to be the first in, is making sure I had both people instead of just one. And so far that's worked out really well. But you know what? Just like everybody else, I'm gonna fail, fall down 7 times, stand up 8. That's how you got to be. How have you had to adjust your business during COVID? Honestly, I kind of answered that in the last one. I mean, certain things, I'm making sure that everything we do is more visual. I think you connect with people more when you see them. So I'm really pushing for more Zoom. And otherwise, our business minus that it was built for these type of situations. We've always been virtual. We're going to remain virtual. We've always done all this stuff that everybody's starting to kind of get into now. So other than that, that's the only really big pivot I've had to make. What is your advice to buyers trying to purchase during the pandemic? Buy now. I think now is a great time to buy. In about a month from now, there's going to be so much competition, and you're going to tell me, there's going to be a ton of buyers a month from now telling me like, wow, I felt like those people got a really good price 3 weeks ago. Like, why did these prices go up? And I'm going to tell you, well, 3 weeks ago, we were in a pandemic and everybody was too scared to buy. You're going to win when there's fear in the market. When that fear is lifted from the market, guess what? You can't get a great deal. I'm promising everybody out there, call me crazy, think I'm the stupidest guy in the world. We will see who is right. I am not seeing prices drop. I am seeing the fear already start to get lifted. I mean, there's going to be a time when you have to realize that the opportunity to strike is when everybody else doesn't want to. When you wait too long, that's when you miss your window. Now, I'm not saying like to go ahead and buy if you don't feel comfortable. I'm just saying like it's hard to say you want a really good deal when the fear has been lifted from the market, and we're getting close towards the end of that fear. Do you think the Asian murder hornet? Do I think the Asian murder hornet will be the next concern after COVID? Great question. The Asian murder hornet is very scary. A bunch of people have been sending me these YouTube videos. For everybody out there that doesn't know what the Asian murder hornet is, it picks honeybees off as they fly to the beehive, and they decapitate them and then show their heads to the hive. And they do that until the hive is decimated. It is almost, it kind of sounds like it's like almost like something that happened in the Middle Ages and that it's not real, but it is real. And I don't know if it's something that's going to be as big as COVID, but if you're bored, check out a YouTube video on it. It is pretty petrifying. What is your go-to order at your favorite restaurants? I'm not really ordering from restaurants that much. I order a salad every day, and I think they're stupidly expensive. They're like $20-something for a salad that I have to pick up, but that's my go-to order right now. Otherwise, I'm cooking at home. Your team looks busy. How do you keep driving business throughout this pandemic? We're working. You know, honestly, 50% of agents probably aren't working. We are working, and we're continuing to work. And I told this to people before. We're working probably harder now than we were before. I have 0 days off as of now. And a day off in our group is any time before 6:30 at night on a weekday, anything before 4 o'clock on a weekend. And I haven't taken a single day, and that's why we're still doing well. If you want to succeed in life, guess what? You have to work for it. That's it. That's the number one rule for success, hard work. If you do that, you'll succeed. Are you having issues at certain buildings in the city? Is that affecting any of your listings? So just what we discussed before, some buildings aren't allowing us in for showings. That's really the only thing. I mean, we're getting around that pretty quickly. A lot of buildings that you couldn't show in are starting to show, and I think it's a matter of weeks at most before all buildings reopen again. Tiger Ting is going to become a scripted series. Who do I think should play Joe Exotic? Another great question. I think it's already been announced that Mr. Nicolas Cage is going to be Joe Exotic, and I think it's a phenomenal casting choice. Very excited to see it, just as the rest of America. What do you think will happen to real estate if the shelter is not lifted at the end of May? Honestly, I think at this point I'm not really worried about it. If you had asked me 3 weeks ago, I'd been like, man, the market's probably going to take a hit. At this point, I think people are very comfortable leaving their house. So whether there's a shelter in place or there's not, I think it'll be virtually unaffected. I think we're going to figure out a way to get through some of these businesses open and people back to work. So not worried about it. What are the signs you are looking for to know that things are starting to get back to normal? Showings. So what am I looking at? I study activity. So when people tell me the market's dropping or something bad's happening, I always ask them, well, how do you know that? As of today, May 7th, we currently have the number one market share in the city. So we have a ton of listings, we have a ton of buyers, we have a ton of closings, and I'm on the front lines seeing exactly what's happening. So when somebody who has a friend that sold one place 3 years ago, or somebody who read something in the Wall Street Journal written by a writer who's never been to Chicago and read a couple stats tells me what's going to happen in Chicago, I tend to have a big opinion and disagree with you because we're sitting here. So for me, the way I see what the confidence like is I look at the showings. And if the showings are up, that's going to lead to more people to buy. And the more people that buy, that means more sales. The more sales they have, the better the market is. And the last couple of weeks, showings are up, and guess what? So are contracts. So I think we're heading back towards a normal market. Do you see the pandemic creating any new strategies or positions for MLG? Probably not. I think our strategies have been to spend more when everybody else is spending less. That's been my biggest difference in what I've been doing. And as of right now, we're not hiring any more people, but who knows? Maybe this will make us busy enough where we do need another position filled. Is it actually illegal to show tenant-occupied units? What if the tenants are okay with you showing? I think technically it is illegal. According to the IDFPR, it is illegal to show a tenant-occupied property. If the tenant consents, though, not really sure. I think it's like a gray area. I mean, if somebody says you're allowed to enter their property and they don't care with it, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the actual law would be at that point. You'd have to talk to your legal team. How many agents are you seeing just put their listings on lockbox or a key with the doorman and not actually showing the unit? I would say that I don't think agents are trying to be lazy. I think a lot of agents, especially in seller-occupied properties, are trying to limit the amount of people in a unit. So we're seeing a lot of people like open up the door and stand in the hallway. We're seeing them like give us the key and stay in the lobby. And I don't think it's people doing it out of spite of trying to be like, oh, I don't want to show it. I think they're just trying to limit it. And I'm seeing probably 50% more showings be that way. Although this week, we're meeting a lot more people. And again, that brings me to my thing that I think the market's starting to head back towards normal. What is your advice for someone who wants to get into real estate? Should they wait? Get in now. The best time to get in is when it's bad. Right now things are slow. It's a good time to get underneath somebody, get a mentor, start to understand the business. I got in when the market went down, and I thought it was the best because I actually learned about the business. When you get in when the market's too hot, you don't actually get time to actually understand the market. So then when the market gets slower like it is now, nobody calls or talks to you about it because you never were an expert in the first place. How are your home inspections and appraisals going? Are buyers, sellers being a little more lenient in their requests just to get deals done? Not really appraisals. I'm not really seeing any big problems with appraisals. I am seeing problems with inspections. I would say that people are acting in like September, October, November. Buyers are super nitpicky on inspections, whereas like in the spring and summer months, buyers are too nervous to lose the property, so they're not really nitpicking as much. So I am seeing buyers be a little bit more nitpicky on inspection items, and I am seeing sellers be more lenient on how much they would give. I would just say it's a little bit more like an October market for inspections. How many deals have you lost since COVID started? Have you managed to get any of them back under contract? We lost roughly about 10% of contracts the minute the shelter in place was put in place. We put most of those under contracts. Most of them were listings we lost. We didn't really lose any buyers. We put most of those listings back under contract with the exception of about 5 of them. And one of them we'll never get back because we got fired from. So we got 4 left and we're back to normal on what we lost. How many bottles of wine have you gone through since shelter in place started? Very good question. About a bottle a day, so that's 60-something days. No, I mean, we've gone through quite a bit of wine, and like I said earlier in the segment, we're supporting our favorite wineries, so we're doing our part by consuming a couple glasses a night. Have you had any more family time? What is your favorite thing to do in the suburbs? I probably see my family, my in-laws more because we're staying there, but I wouldn't say I have more family time because I'm working more. So I would say that, in fact, I feel like I'm probably seeing My wife and my son probably less now than I did when we lived at home, because the extra time I probably would be seeing them is the time it takes to drive back to the suburbs. So I wouldn't say, and my favorite thing to do in the suburbs, I guess working out. That's a big reason to be able to stay out there too, is I'm able to work out in the basement, but otherwise nothing really has changed. What do you miss most about how things used to be before COVID started? Seeing people, being able to do whatever you wanted, walk out your door and be like, let's grab a coffee really quickly and not have to worry about standing in line for 20 minutes to grab one and then them not having it, or being able to walk into a store. Pretty much everything. Let's go with everything and underline it. What do I think about Elon Musk's baby name? Good question. It is for everybody out there, Elon Musk named his kid X something of something. I have no opinion about it. Maybe that's the future. Maybe we're just going to start naming our kids a bunch of random letters and numbers, and it'll make it for easier to remember in some way. No, I have no opinion. I don't even know why they named it that. That's it. Those are our questions. So thanks for watching this, guys. Follow us on Instagram, like our Facebook pages, subscribe, hit the button so you get notified when these get released, and leave us a question. Most of these questions come from people leaving them on our page, and inbox us, shoot us messages of what you want to hear, whatever you want to hear, whatever you ask, we'll answer. So thanks for watching the Matt Literacy Project. Make sure to subscribe to our podcast, follow us on Instagram, and like us on Facebook.